Okay. Um, sometimes it's good to just take a walk. So we're taking a walk to town.
Are
Right?
you just taking a walk or you're going somewhere big?
Yeah, we're going somewhere, but we're taking a walk to town. Right?
Yeah, today is a choice. Sometimes we take a walk because we don't have a choice. But today
Yes.
is a choice. Like,
So what can you say about choices?
that you always consciously take a choice.
So, uh,
I had to what you chose to take the decision that you made.
okay.
So it's always a conscious one.
So what do you think choices do to a young married couple?
It's either they will make you or break you, because it's either you make a good one or you make a bad one.
So
And
what about if now I decide to make a choice and I don't let you know? What do you think that's gonna happen?
sometimes it does happen, right? Like, let's not act like.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes one just take a choice without telling the other. And I'd like to think it's because you think it's the best choice that you're taking in that moment. But it's always good to let the other person know, because even if sometimes you think, like, for example, let's say you are saying, it's not gonna affect anyone, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, you are no longer alone. And somewhere, somehow, it is going to affect you. So it's better, no matter how small or big it is, it's better to tell the other person.
Okay. So what do you think of uh, selfishness in a marriage?
I think that's okay. According to me, people are different and views are different. Guys, if you hear the noise, please disclaimer. We said that we are working.
Yeah.
I think that before someone decides that they want to get married or they want to marry someone, they must do away with self. Self must die.
Yeah.
So that's just me. When you decide that you want to marry someone, self must die. So if you are still, for me, if someone is married and they are still selfish, then I got to ask myself questions here. Were you even ready to get married in the first place? Because it's no longer about you alone.
So you are
It's even actually less about you, if we're to be honest. And yeah.
okay. So, okay. But now, let's say you found a person like that. How do you deal with that
And someone who's
situation?
selfish.
Yes. And you decided to marry that kind of a person. So how do you deal with such? How will you deal with such?
I'd like to believe that before you even get married to someone, you are already in a position where you know whether this person is selfish or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So you are saying
it
that
will mean
before you marry the person, you know exactly the kind of a person you are marrying.
Yes. And it will mean that you chose or decided to say, however this person is,
Yeah.
I am going to marry them. And you're hoping or have solutions as how you are going to help them to become unselfish. But like I'm saying, that's a personal thing. You
Yeah.
can't say you are going to help someone to become unselfish. It's a thing that one personally has to decide to say, you know what, I'm no longer alone. There's someone in my life, and now I have to live life as though there's someone in my life.
Yeah.
Communicate, like, live as though there's someone. You're no longer alone.
Okay, let's say like I decide to do something that will have a consequence on our marriage, but I decide to do it alone and I tell you later about it. How is that going to impact our relationship?
Why do I feel attacked? Why do I feel
No,
attacked?
but it's something that we need to learn as young
No, but
couple.
why is it that it's you asking me that question? Because Like I'm saying, I feel attacked. Okay, the truth is, the reason why I'm saying I feel attacked is because that is something I've once done, right?
Yeah.
I've once taken a decision without having to tell you. And later on, you know that the sad part is I don't get to face the consequences alone.
Yeah.
I don't get to face the consequences alone. I take the decision alone, but when you are married to someone, you both face the consequences.
Yeah.
So that's the bad part about this whole thing, that you will take a decision alone and say, hey, you know what, I don't think this is something that I can tell this person. But the truth is, the facing of the consequences is not going to be on you alone.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the both of you. So I think, like I'm saying, I feel attacked because that's something that I once did. And you will have to notice that, you will have to know that we had to both suffer the consequences of the decision that I took without having to tell you. So it's whether good or bad, it's best to just say it.
So
From my
what
own
about
experience.
doesn't that impact on the trust in the relationship?
It does, right? It does. It's like, I have that thing here. Like if I do something, I would want to test if I tempered with someone's trust, right?
Yeah.
So, to answer the question, it does affect someone's trust. But I'd like to believe that trust is built.
Yeah.
You make someone to trust you, or the very same way you took a decision that made someone not to trust you.
Yeah.
You can also I believe you can also take a better one to regain someone's trust. And it does take time. It's not an overnight thing, but I believe it can be regained. So for me, like I'm saying, there's once a decision that I took that I did not tell you, right? And then later on, we were both affected. The thing that I can do next is to now make sure that any decision that I want to take, I do tell you. And over time, that trust will be regained. You'll also get to see that, okay, this person made a mistake and they are not repeating the same mistake.
Okay. Yeah, I like to also say that, like, no matter how difficult it is, like, communication should be key.
Yes.
I think, like, most of us can't communicate things because we think maybe,
Oh, how is
yes,
he
or
going to take it?
yes.
Sometimes even the fact that is he going to, most of the time, I think most of the time, the fear is he even going to allow me to do what I want to do?
Yeah.
So that's why it becomes difficult.
Oh, yeah,
But
yes.
also, the fact that he's not going to allow you should tell you that what you want to do is not entirely right. Right?
Yeah.
So
I agree. So that's what I wanted to say that it's not the matter of the person agreeing or disagreeing, but letting them know that this is on your mind and you think of doing it. So what do you think? Because I think as young couple, we just want to do things, out of agency.
Are you saying, just to get your statement right,
Yeah.
are you saying it doesn't matter whether the person agrees or not, you just have to tell them?
In a sense, Iago, like, as long as they know. Imagine now, let's say you want to buy a car, for example, and your partner doesn't know that you want to buy a car. And that is going to have a major impact on your finances, right? So, like, imagine you go and buy the car and you're like, surprise!
But sometimes the surprise would be good. Like, let's say, for example,
The surprise can be good if it is not from the expenses of the marriage.
also, if you are both in a good space, like, don't just, if
Yes.
okay, we can afford this,
Yes.
maybe you can, like, let's say for an example, I have an extra 200k,
Yes.
And for example, on your birthday, I want to surprise you and pop up with a car.
Yes.
I don't think that's an issue.
That one
But
be.
like you are saying, if we are in a space where things are not really balancing, yeah, that's where the problem would come in.
Okay. I get you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Matsonsi, it's your turn now.
Hello.
Hi. Reality-wise, right? We are facing reality now.
Yeah.
There are challenges in relationships or marriages, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets to be very difficult. So I just want to know what makes you, because you know these days there's a notion, like if you go and confide in someone and say, yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
The most things that we hear these days is, Kanti, why are you suffering? Why are you staying in such a relationship where it's difficult? So I just want to know. I know it's not been long that we have been together, right?
Yeah.
But it's over a year to 2 years now. And we have had quite fair challenges to have to face. So I want to know, every time these things happens, what keeps you in the relationship? Like what keeps you?
I would say it's the purpose of our union, right? What keeps us, what keeps me going with you it's the reason for our union.
That's a very tricky answer.
Which is purpose, all right? When I married you for a purpose, and our union is for a purpose. And if, like, I were to confide in anyone, I won't just go to anyone to confide to. You understand? So I will go to people whom have been in the journey that I want to undertake.
Okay.
For example, I will go to married people. Those that align with the kind of marriage or the perspective that I have about marriage and the situation that is going on.
Okay.
So, for me, confiding is not a problem. The problem is...
Do you confide?
Yes, I do. Not all the time. Not most of the time, to say. But I do. Your father always calls her to order. But yes, the problem is not confiding. The problem is, who do you confide to? If you confide to somebody that tells you, why are you suffering, it means it's the wrong person. Because if you believe that that union you have is union for a purpose, it's God-given union, then somebody comes and tells you that leave, then it means you're confiding in the wrong person. So you need to look at that on who do you confide to. Confiding is not an issue. We always want to confide, tell our issues. I don't want to tell my issues to you sometimes, most of the time. You know, I want to tell somebody about the issues that we have, but I have to look on who can I trust with my issues. So yes, that's basically what I do. I look at that, okay, can this person keep what I want to tell them?
Also, can they advise you in a right way?
Yes. Can they give me Like, even though it's not the advice that I think I need, but can they lead me and give me another perspective of what I am going through? Yes.
Okay, sir. So I want to understand, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna ask you practical or reality questions.
Yeah.
So, what happens when you marry someone who is not yet where you want them to be? Like, what do you think that does to you as a person, and what do you think that does to the relationship? How do you view that? Like, for example, career-wise, I'm not yet established.
Yeah.
I'm not working, for example. What do you think that does? Where do you think that puts you? How does it make you feel? Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, what do you think it does to the relationship?
The truth of the matter is that when you marry somebody, you are saying that you're gonna take care of them. So, by any means, I decided to say, if you're not yet established, yes, if you are, it's about purpose, understanding where you are going with that person. You understand? So, irrespective of the person they're established or not, the question is, do you see where you're going with the person?
Do you see where the person is going? Again,
As
let's
a
say
man,
you are working as a man.
Yes.
And the wife is not working.
As a man, you have duties for your wife, right? You have duties such as cultivating your wife or cultivating your family. So if they are not established, it's your responsibility to lead them in the way where they can be established. For example, if they are not working, you co-partner with them in looking for work for them with your connections. Get them to do something, right? For study, if they wanna career-wise, if they are not working, the little that you have, if you can afford for them to go to school, to maybe get a certificate, you do that. You take that little and then they go to, you cultivate them, but at the right time, they will get what they are supposed to. What I'm trying to say is that don't base your union and say whatever we are going through right now is on the situation of the now, right? Don't base your relationship on the now, but base it on the future. And when you go to the future, in the now, what are you doing for you to get to the future?
But you know, when they say finances in a relationship are very key, wouldn't you find it frustrating when you are the only one taking care of, like, let's speak reality. I hear you are saying
Yes.
you need to cultivate your wife, right?
Yes.
Let's speak reality and the truth. Don't you think you'd get frustrated if you are the only one taking care of the house and the person? On top of that, you have to take care of the person, and it's a little bit stretched. Don't you think it does frustrate?
I mean, when you decided to marry this person, the first thing first, didn't you know they are not working?
No, let's say they were, okay, let's say they are in a situation where they are working, and at
Yes.
some point, they are no longer working.
It happens.
I know it does. I'm saying,
Yes.
doesn't it
So
frustrate?
as that's why I'm saying that.
When a baby, I think your answers you don't want to.
No.
Like you don't want to.
For like, listen, how my frustrations will be based on, right? My frustrations will be based on that I can't do much for you as I should because I have to take care of extra things. That's where the
actually
frustration comes in, right?
Yeah.
It's not a frustration, Yago. I'm alone, I'm doing this alone, right? Because as men, we go into relationships and unions automatically knowing that we need to be the leaders, we need to take care of things. You understand? Based on how the society has taught us. So we go into that knowing even
But,
if the person doesn't have a job, it means I should be the one to say, okay, baby, there is no soap. Let me give you money for soap. Right? But the frustration now, when you were working and now you lost your job, the frustration comes in to say, the things you were covering, I have to cover them. And it means that I have to cut the things that I was doing for you to enjoy. And that is gonna frustrate me to say, okay, I cut out hobbies, I cut out dates. And you will come back and say, baby, can't we go out? You see, but I will come back and tell you, Ish, the problem is that I have to
that's
cover
where the
for.
frustration
That's
comes.
where the frustration comes in. It's not the frustration you go, I have to cover the whole thing. We don't have a problem with that. We have a problem when now the things that you enjoy, now it is cut off and there is no more joy for you. Rather than to say, we are Kavi, we are trying to survive. Yes.
You said something very interesting. You said that's how the society view men, to say men are the ones who are supposed to take care of a woman.
Yes.
Please, can you say something on that statement?
Yes. Like our
And how
father,
you feel about it?
like our Father in the Lord always says, in today's time we can't say men are the providers. Like you guys earn more than what we earn.
Yeah.
So how can we be the provider? Right? So that's along those lines. And like the society has taught us to be providers in a relationship. But things have changed. Right?
Do you think women are providers these days?
Most are providers.
And how do you think that makes men feel?
Okay, I'll answer that question in this way. Number one, knowing the purpose of the marriage. If you know that what the purpose why you two are together, it won't affect the man. Right? But the problem will become when the man gets jealous of how the man ends,
But
how
also,
the woman ends. So I think like how we feel about it. For us men, I think couples have to identify the things to cover so that also like you let me be a man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
Say also it depends on how the lady makes the man feel.
Yes.
To say,
yes.
does she come with an attitude? Now, I'm the provider. It means when you are failing as a man.
Yes, yes. So you need to let me be. Even the less I am making, like for example, we can just decide to say, okay, you cover this, and me I cover this. So we know, Gure, there is no that feeling, Yaure. I'm paying for everything, yeah, and you are not doing anything, right? So we can share responsibilities to balance one not feeling discouraged and all those kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.